Baby birds, baby birds, baby birds. Welcome back to the nest for another edition of Words of Wisdom featuring Brian the Raid King. As always, with your friend, Wisdom W. Wisdom. Reach out to Words of Wisdom through the Twitterverse at Words from Wisdom. That's at Words from Wisdom. And now, everyone's favorite host, Baby Birds, welcome Wisdom W. Wisdom.
Baby birds, baby birds, baby birds, welcome back to the nest here on Words of Wisdom, featuring the one, the only, the man, myth, the legend, Braun the Raid King, who will be joining us in just a quick minute via the Team CND phone lines. That's right, Team CND phone lines. Hit up Team CND at teamcnd.com. Check it out, see what's going on, see what's hollering, check the news, check the blogs, check the wonderful, wacky world of Team CND. All right. And today's show, Baby Bird, is gonna be wild. It's gonna be unique. It's gonna be crazy, flowing, growing. Just a wild, wacky world of fun. It's gonna be good times. We're gonna have some laughs. We're gonna have some serious. Heck, you might even get a tear in your eye, get a little misty eyed. Might even get a little misty eyed. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like that. And remember, you always got to be able to find us. So don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Just search Team CND on YouTube and you find us, Team CND on YouTube, at Words from Wisdom in the Twitterverse. Stay in our mentions, stay in our DMs, and stay in our grab bag. Stay a part of the show. This is our show, baby birds. It's all of our shows. Let's do it. Let's hit it. Words from Wisdom, Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com. That's Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com. And I just got the cue. I got the look. I'm getting the point. I'm getting the finger. I'm getting shown the truth, the valley, the crest, the overlapping hill down the top of the mountain through the wild, wild west. We're going to hit it, flip it, and go with it as Braun, the man, the myth, the raid, the king, is going to be connecting with us next, right after this. Baby birds, baby birds, baby birds, welcome back to the nest here on Words of Wisdom, featuring the one and only man, the myth, the legend, Braun the Raid King, who is joining us via the Team CND phone line. Braun, my man, what's going on, player? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm trying to build a new computer for the wife here.
Ooh.
Well, for me, I give her the hand-me-downs, but mine's pretty good. But I need to get myself a new one so we stream together.
Oh,
she wants to play some PUBG.
You're gonna stream together?
Yeah, she wants to play some PUBG with me. So I figured since I'm gonna start streaming anyway, might as well throw her in there and we can stream together.
Oh, there you go. Just have her wear that Harley outfit all the time, and you will get viewers out the wazoo, man. Out the wazoo.
I ain't looking to use my wife as no fish bait.
Oh, that's just bad business right there. That's bad business.
I took a vow so that it's mine. If I have to suffer the consequences of it, I'm gonna basically dictate how I want it to go at this point.
Well, I feel you. But no, what you guys need to do is what I'd recommend doing when y'all do this is I saw a couple streaming couples. They stream on the same screen. You sit your computers right next to each other, and you have the stream, and you have that cool looking background going on, and you have the two chairs, and you have the stream, and then you can do stuff like that. I've also seen people that, because you all got some little kids and stuff like that. I don't know if you want to put kids in this. I'm not a big fan of throwing a lot of real life stuff into streams just because I just don't want people knowing what's going on in my household. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen some people have streams. They have like the nanny cam set up in the other room. So y'all can watch the little kids running around and people can see the little kids running around in the corner of the screen or the dogs running around the corner of the screen. It's pretty interesting, I thought, some of the ideas that some of these cats do. But I think y'all should probably do definitely the tables set up kind of next to each other and be on the same stream picture, not just dual screening, but literally be on the exact same stream.
I think I'll just have me in the camera and her being like prop off to the side where you can't see her, but she can at least participate.
Oh man, you know? You trying to hide it from the world? What you trying to do? Why you trying to hide that pretty lady from the world, man? Nah, dude, come on. I mean, she doesn't gotta wear the Harley outfit, but she could just wear normal attire. She'd be all right.
I don't know. I like to be center stage, and if she's sitting there, she might steal some of my glory.
She won't steal some of it; she'll steal all of it. But that's
Yeah, that's probably
besides
true.
the point, man. That's besides the point. I'm just trying to get you. But you know, you could do the thing about her voice is always there, and people are like, "Huh, who is that? Where's
That's my
that voice coming
sidekick. That's what I'd be
from?"
like.
Yeah,
That's my sidekick.
yeah. So I can feel that. I could probably get on board with that. You're gonna have to play it up though. You're gonna have to make a big thing about it. And she's just never on camera, but her voice, that sweet, sweet voice, is just popping in there all the time. You know.
Yeah, it'll just be like the channel will be like Braun and Wife. Like I don't even give her a name. Maybe I can get her tags and everything just to be Braun's wife.
Man, you gonna get some hate up in that channel sometimes. Man.
Yeah,
You gonna
no,
get
no,
yeah.
she's been working on a new moniker for a while now.
Oh, gonna use fancy words, a moniker. I got you. All right. So what's
Yeah,
it?
well, we she used to play a Day Defeat, an old Counter Strike or Half Life mod, first computer, and she's played some Dota and stuff. She wants to start playing League, but gotta try to figure out herself a new little handle there.
I got you. I got you. So what did you used to go by?
She went by Black Widow, which kind of unnerving for me because a woman named Black Widow is usually the one killing her husband. And then she was Fire in the Hole for a while in a World War II game, but then that just sounded like some type of crotch burn. So I really didn't like that one either. So now she's kind of working on the third one.
Well, I didn't even think of that until you said it. I don't think any of our baby birds thought about that one until you said it too. The fire, oh man, fire in the hole. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't sit right with me for some reason.
Oh man. Yeah. So is she a redhead? Is that what the thing is? She got redhead?
No. I mean, if
Oh.
she was redhead, I'd let it play out.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I think Black
it's just
Widow,
fine.
Black Widow redhead, So
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense then.
yeah. All right. Well, that's cool, man. So what'd you pick up for us so far?
Well, I just went and got a 1080. They're a little bit pricey now, but can't put a price on spending time together. So fired up 1080 and I got her with the brand new 87 i7. Well, here's the thing: everything I say that she's getting is basically me getting. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be good. I'm still just putting it together, but I'm excited.
It's funny that you're doing this and you're doing it that way, right? One of my boys, this is one Midwestern boy. You actually know him. I won't say his name because I don't want to embarrass him and his girl and his family. But I was having this conversation with him a couple months ago because she likes gaming too, and she's all into that stuff. She's a Trekkie and all that good stuff. And she's the one actually that told me that I need to ditch going to the clubs and ditch doing all that stuff and finding the ladies up in there. You need to go to the Comic Cons. You need to go to the Trekkie conventions and find yourself someone that is just like you, that has that type of personality style and who digs. You don't have to keep pretending that you playing games.
That's why I'm upset that there's not enough LAN centers in America anymore. Because LAN centers would be the great place to be meeting people.
Oh yeah, that would be tight. That will be tight. But they are in a similar situation that you're talking about. And he's like, yeah, I got to get my girl a new computer and all that stuff. I was like, hold on, baby. Why don't you, because you play more than she does, why don't you just give her your old computer and just buy yourself a new computer and get the new graphics card? Because she ain't going to notice the difference between your graphics card that you got. And all I could hear from the background, from the peanut gallery was like, oh, hell no. We get a new computer. That new computer is mine. He is not taking out the graphics card and putting it in his computer. We're not swapping like it. That is mine. So it's interesting how one household goes one way and another household goes the other way. It's funny how that works.
Well, that's the funny part is I said, oh, we should get you a new computer. And she goes, why don't you just get yourself one and let me use yours because I don't use it as much. So it's fine. It's exactly the same scenario, but flip. That's why that's hilarious to me.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. That is absolutely funny. That's good stuff. So
who pays the bills in that house? I'm just asking. Not that it really matters. They co-pay bills or what?
Yeah, they co-pay. Yeah, she's an accountant, I think.
And then I'd be like, well, then who built the first computer? Did he build it with his money?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, well, then that's perfect. She gets he's given her a gift that he fully invested himself into, and together they're buying him a new computer. See, that's how you swing it.
That's what I told him. That's how I told him bringing on up, but it did not. No.
He's a fan. That sounds like a man who's a. That's okay though. Hey, whatever gets your relationship healthy, man. That's what that's all about anyway. So if that's the inner dynamics of them, then that works. Then there you go. You just use it.
Well, at least you're doing it the way where you presented it, whether you actually intended on this happening, where you were planning on going into buying her a computer, or you were reverse psychology because you know you asked personality, like, baby, why don't we go in? You know what I want to do for you? I want to play so much. I want to spend so much time with you. And I love you so much that I want you to be playing games right next to me. I want to teach you how to play League. I want to teach you how to play PUBG. I want to play these games with you. I know you used to play. I want to get you back into it. So I want to buy you a new computer. Let's build you a new computer, baby. And since you know how her personality reacts to something like that, you knew ahead of time that she'd be like, well, you play more than I do. Why don't we just get you the new computer and why don't you just give me your old one?
Absolutely knew that's what it would be. Absolutely. You don't make gambles like that unless you kind of have a good idea what the outcome might be.
That's right. That's why you don't just ask a girl to marry you or vice versa. A girl will ask a dude to marry unless you know the outcome, what the answer is going to be. You don't want to look like a damn fool, especially in a big public place.
But I'm talking about now when it comes to relationships. I'll tell my kids, even my daughter and my son, before you get married, you live with that person for like a year or two, because when you're dating somebody and you're meeting somebody, that's like one part of a life. But then when you cohabitate and you really get to know that person, I think that's what ends up being the relationship killer more times than not.
I completely concur, and I can vouch for that quite a bit. I didn't get engaged like that before I pretty much lived with this girl. But I typically, at least I used to, or diving back in the life of wisdom, wisdom. All right, let's hit it. My relationships, I will never typically date. You know the old saying, never date a girl in your own building?
Yep.
Okay, so I took that saying and I went to never date a girl in your own town.
Yeah,
So
but what you're doing is you're making it so taboo that eventually that's what you're going to want.
yeah. So I'd have no problem traveling 25 minutes or 30 minutes to go see my girl or something like that. I don't want to be able to be there all the time. I don't want it all the time, 24/7. I've only had a few girls that it's been like that with. So that's just me, and that's my crazy personality, though. That's probably why I'm still single.
I think that's most person. I think a lot of people realize that they want to have combined time and they want to have alone time. And I think it's healthy in early relationships to treat it that way. Don't get too overloaded with somebody, because the oversaturation without the ability to talk through stuff or to work things out is what really gets you.
Oh yeah, man, I can tell you straight up because I pretty much lived my life by the philosophy of never date a girl in your own building, which turned out to be your own city. And when I broke up with my fiance, the first girl I dated was one of my friends after that, and dated her for like 2, 3 months. And we spent so much time together. It was insane. And it was actually spending that much time together like that pretty much ended that particular relationship. We stayed friends, but the loving relationship that we had rolling, it just couldn't do it, man. Because when you're spending time out of place all the time, she's at my place all the time, spending every waking moment with this individual. Nah, it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of time. I think the problem is a lot of people get into it too heavy, too fast. That's when they freak out later. I think if you kind of just learn who the other person is over a period of time instead of rushing, you can have a better judge for yourself also. And you got to my big thing is people need to be self-sufficient before you start getting in a relationship for the most part, because something goes wrong, you got to be able to support yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And that goes 100% both ways, especially nowadays. Before, it used to always be like people saying, well, the girl's mooching off the dude and gold diggers and all that kind of stuff, But nowadays, I shouldn't say just now, it's been like this for a long time now, but at least people notice it. Is there's I know plenty of relationships, and like most of my friends are female, and they all make good money. Some make amazing money. Some make way more money than I make, right? And they support their dudes sometimes, right? And that kind of stuff. So it just depends on the situation. It depends on the person. There's male gold diggers and there's female gold diggers. I know an awful lot of lazy dudes that leech off their girls. I know a lot of them cats.
Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of, like, I'll tell my daughters, like, if you're going to be in a relationship and you're going to move in somewhere with somebody, you got to make sure that you're fully able to move out and to be on your own financially if you have to. You have to be able to fall back on yourself. Don't set yourself up for success and then figure that part out. Don't figure that part out and then try to set yourself up for success, because life has a way of throwing you curveballs that you're just not expecting.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're kind of thinking from the parent standpoint where you want her to feel that she can leave any situation because she has the means to do so. She doesn't have to stay somewhere because she doesn't got no job, she doesn't got no income, and she has no place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the same thing to my son too. I don't. My son should be able to, if he has to, be able to support himself and not rely on other people.
I agree, and that is something that everyone should be teaching their kids, right? That's something everyone should be teaching. That's not, don't rely on the TV, don't rely on the books, don't rely on your public school system teachers any longer. You can't do that, y'all. You need to take a step in your life and teach them children's, teach them good, and teach them foreign languages when they're young. That mind is so pliant, it's like pudding. It's like pudding. You move them around, put it all down like Play-Doh, Go ahead and teach them some foreign languages. In other countries, shit. People are learning 3, 4 languages before they're 8 years old. Come on now, you can handle it.
I think that's the problem. Those we've been trying to let the the school system and different people raise our kids and take it off of our hands. I think you have to. I think we're kind of seeing the echoes stuff through society of what that can lead to. I think we got to be a little bit more proactive. And it's as a parent, I have times where I lapse and stuff, and I got to pick it up. It's just one of the things where if you're not actively trying to work at it and get better at it, you're just going to neglect it. And you got to remember that 15, 18 years down the road, that neglection is going to be another adult.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It keeps on getting passed on. It gets passed on. It takes a very strong individual to go against their environment. And when I say that, well, it's tough for people to understand, especially people that are raised wealthy or raised just even high end middle class. It's tough to understand what that actually means. The product of your environment is a real thing. Now, are you able to go against your environment and be your own person? Absolutely. But the more obstacles put in your way, talk to any self made millionaire that did not get money handed to them, right? Tell them what they had to go through, the obstacles they had to get through. If they just hung out with their friends, even if they're a middle class person, if they just hung out with their friends every Friday night, Saturday night, Thursday night, got drunk and got wasted, instead of getting around individuals in their specific field that they wanted to be successful in, or they wanted to start a business and getting ideas bouncing around, all that kind of stuff, if they're always hanging out with their drunk buddies, chances are they're not going to be able to push themselves to the proper success rate and get the proper mindset to become that self-made millionaire. Guess what? That's why there's so few of them. It's the same thing if you come from the hood, man. I'll give you my pops, for example. My pops is from CPT, Compton, California, right? My dad and his brother are the polar opposites. The polar opposites. My dad made sure he stayed out of trouble. He ran away. He ran away from gunfights. He ran away from nice. Dude, he had a cat that was waiting for him in the bathroom when he was a freshman in high school that wanted to cut him up, wanted to ship his ass in school. He's a freshman in school. He had to climb out through the ventilation system in the damn bathroom, right, to get out of that. But he didn't need none of that. He rolled out. Whereas my uncle is straight up Compton, man. He's straight up wearing the old English bottle. He's got the old English bottle in the paper bag. He's got the Compton hat on. That's what he has. It's from the Dr. Dre song. You hear that song, you listen to Compton, you're walking down the road. That's my uncle. That's my man. That's my uncle. People respect the street. He respect the street. People respect him walking down the street because he ran that block. He ran that street, man. And that's what it was all about. My dad went the opposite way. He's like, I ain't staying here. I'm not gonna have my kids up in here. I seen how this stuff's been changing. When his parents moved in, it was a nice place, right? It was a nice area. It was all that stuff. First off, Compton is not as bad as everyone thinks it is. But what I'm telling you is that he had the fortitude, and this is a cat that I don't even particularly like because he bailed on my mama, but that's okay. He had the fortitude to get out, get a scholarship, go to college, get in the Navy, be a commander in the Navy, be a lifer in the Navy until he was 55 or 60 years old, right? Retired from his work profession when he was 45, 50, and started doing things that he just dig doing because he had the money to do so. And it's just polar opposites, man. You can see one person took advantage and used the environment that he was raised in to push him to the limits. And the other person let the environment engulf him and bring him completely to where the stereotypical thing is when you all turn on your NWA or your Dr. Dre CDs, your Chronic, first one around for you millennials, go put that thing on. Probably don't know what that is and listen to that. That's what people just assumed life was like out there, right? And it's half true. It's somewhat true. Depends on what part of Compton you live in and where you're at and what you're doing. But man, those are obstacles that you just have to push past. And it's obstacles everywhere in life. It's not just in that situation. It's everywhere. You need to apply yourself to move on forward. Well, now I'm turning into one of my motivational public speaking speeches, and I'll just slow that down. We don't do that no more. So
That's all right. I think what really is that your dad, what you're saying is your dad And I guess your uncle probably did it to the same extent, but it's what every self-made millionaire and billionaire has ever had to do. They bet on themselves, and by betting on yourself, you're putting yourself in the best possible position to bet on yourself to succeed. And so, like your dad, he put himself in the best spot he could by joining the Navy and working hard, making a career out of it. And he bet on himself. He didn't bet on somebody else to come along and bail him out or help him out. And I think that's what these billionaires and millionaires, they have like this super ability to bet on themselves. And while a lot of people do it and some people fail, I think if you really want to succeed, you have to be willing to bet on yourself at some point.
Absolutely. If you talk to a lot of these cats, these self-made millionaires, I'm not talking about the Donald Trumps, or I'm not talking about these guys that got all their money handed to them by their papas. Okay? Those cats, it's a different mentality, right? It's a different mentality when you are handed something. Teach a man to fish, he can feed himself for a lifetime. Give a man a fish, he can feed himself for a day. But as long as you got unlimited money, you can keep feeding yourself fish because someone will keep dropping in your damn mouth. Those cats have the wrong outlook. They don't understand how everyone else interacts and what they are doing. You just can't, because you come from a completely different world. It is an impossibility for you to understand. You can't. No matter how much TV you watch, no matter how much you read, how much you try to hang out with those types of cats, you can't understand. So these self-made millionaires, these billionaires, the things you're going to hear a lot of these cats say, I know my friends that say that stuff, is before you are age 25, fail huge. And when they say fail huge, it's fail huge. They mean colossal mistake. That's okay as long as you're trying to make yourself, you're reaching for the stars. It's okay to fail. If you have not failed big by the time you're 25, you are doing something wrong. Look at Mark Cuban. How many times did he fail making that whatever he was doing over there? He failed a bunch of times, and then he just hit it out. There's another dude that was there.
Telecoms.
Yes.
Big telecom.
Yes. That one dude that burned down his parents' garage. Was working on, I can't remember which guy that was, but he burned down his parents' garage like twice trying to work on his computer program out there that is programming. And he's a billionaire now. God, I wish I could remember the name of him, which one it was. It's not Bill Gates.
Talking about Paul Allen?
It might have been him. Yeah, it might have been him.
How about, the one, I don't know a lot of people know about this, but watch this documentary on the kid. I think he's in San Francisco. There's a young man that built a personal nuclear reactor in his parents' garage. And it's fully legal. The government sanctioned it. He has to have all these licenses and stuff done, but the kid has a nuclear reactor in his garage. What do you think about that, huh?
How about that?
You think that kid bet on himself?
That's amazing. That's incredible, man. Just incredible.
Yeah, he had to get like the material, to actually power it. He had to contact the government. The government came and checked everything out and helped him out. Now he has his own little nuclear reactor.
I didn't think you could. Don't you need plutonium or something for that? No average person could have plutonium sitting in their garage in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy part. I'm trying to pull it up here while we talk here. I can't remember the real specifics of it, but I remember there being a documentary, a video, watching. He had to do all the research and did all the building and the fabrication and all this stuff, and it's pretty awesome. But it's one of those things where I do believe that, I know we're segueing away from what we started with, but I do know that when it comes to nuclear technology, it's one of the cleanest forms of energy we can get. And I know we get scared of it because of the disasters that can happen and have happened. But really, if we really want to progress, I think if we were able to harness the ability of the atom, and we did so in a much better way, I really think we'd be far more technologically advanced than we really are.
Well, absolutely. And I always wonder, what are the statistics that is nuclear power dirtier than the coal power that they have going on all the time? What is worse? I would love this. I'm sure there's somewhere.
Well, I mean, I know it's like if you're burning coal and you don't have a way to filter it, you're putting particulates in the air. So that could be one form of pollution. When you talk about nuclear, you have the wasteful byproduct. And that's kind of the biggest thing also with the nuclear reactors is how do you get rid of the chemicals? I know they have like mountain system caves and stuff where they bury a lot of it. Some of them are, you can't open this until 2909 or what. But I think that's really the big thing is we gotta figure out a way to not even civilianize. That's not even a word, but basically get that power into the hands of the individuals. I know it's dangerous, but it's just the you could have a small reactor power an entire city, and the whole. I mean, it's just. I guess what I'm getting at is when it comes down to the pennies on the dollar, nuclear fusion is by far the best source of energy you can get.
The dog
Oh.
agrees with you. Absolutely. The dog agrees with
I
you.
think I may have a package. One moment.
All right. All right. Braun is going to be gone for a quick second on the Team CND phone lines, but that's going to lead us to the end of the break. Here we go. And baby birds of all ages, don't you forget, on YouTube, like and subscribe. That's what feed us. That's what sustains us. Just search Team CND on the U of the tube. In the Twitterverse, Words from Wisdom. That's at Words from Wisdom. Stay in my mentions. Stay in our DMs. Oh, yeah. And Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com. That's Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com. And that's another message that we just got that we need to hit this break. When we come back, we are going to have some stuff that was brought to our attention from our listeners, from our grab bag, from Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com. Would you like to have your stuff brought up on the show? It can be. It will be. It has to be. Right after this, we will jump in to the grab bag.
It's time for your information update.
Holy Cross changes their name from Crusading Knights to Holy Crusaders, changing their mascot with a shield that just says HC on it. Knights are too offensive. Knights are too offensive.
Isn't a crusader just a knight that's on a holy mission?
So the rest of the stuff they have on here, they had a big up-to-do about their trying to ring in the mascots a little bit. And knights, because of the crusades. So they were the Holy Crusade, or the Holy Knights, Holy Cross Knights, right? And they were the crusading thing, and they're talking about the crusades are so bad, and how knights were under the crusades and massacred people, which of course it was horrendous. Every aspect of life, we have a group of individuals doing something horrendous. So,
Yeah.
but knights aren't horrendous. The crusades were horrendous. So, why are you keeping the name the Holy Crusaders?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna change that seems like a. I don't. First of all, I got many things going in my head right now. First of all, I think that the only thing that people are upset about now when it comes to mascots, or if it has a human, if it identifies as part human, or if it has something to do with history. And I don't know why we try to do this thing where we erase all this stuff instead of embrace it. But if you're gonna change, let's just go down this path that they're going down, and they're changing themselves from the Knights to the Crusaders because they feel that Knights are more offensive than the term Crusaders. And I mean, to me, if you're going to say that, well, a knight usually had the knights are respected, and even in literature and stuff, even in modern media, knights are still considered like an honorable group of people that fought in wars for nobility or whatnot. But a crusader was literally just a guy who went and fought a holy war somewhere. So I don't know why you feel that that is the way you'd want to change it for whatever reason you're trying to change it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And speaking of that, if we were going down a list of all the mascots that need to be changed, I have a couple of them for you here, Ron. So here's a couple mascots that would have to be changed. And obviously the Redskins and the Indians and those types of ones are on top of many people's lists over the years, but no one has even thought about these. But if you're going to talk about the Crusaders and you're going to talk about Knights, well, if you're going to remove Knights, you got to remove all these, right? So you got the Spartans, right? The Spartans have to be changed. You know what the Spartans did?
Yeah, they're warriors. They kill people.
They didn't just kill people.
No, but I mean, like, that's what we're gonna do. All these ones are gonna be like warrior classes, right? And what's gonna be they fought and killed people for their nation. I mean, really, that's what it always comes down to. It's like you're like the Patriots. Oh, we gotta get rid of them. They fought and killed for America. The Spartans, we gotta get rid of them. They fought and killed for Sparta. The Greek and Roman gladiators. Oh, we gotta get rid of them. They fought and killed for money and sport. At what point do you say, why does it matter and where does it end?
Absolutely. And don't forget about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got to go. Buccaneers, what they did.
Yeah. The Pittsburgh Pirates, get out of here.
Yep. The Oakland Raiders.
Yep, the Washington Bullets. Whoops.
They changed that one already. And this is
to the wizards, which are basically magic guys who kill things.
Shoot lightning bolts to the bullets, absolutely. And then, of course, the Fighting Irish. The precious Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They have to be changed as well.
They should just change themselves to the Fighting McGregors.
All right, so I want to go. We need to regale our listeners with the Raid King had an emergency here on the condemned Team C&D phone lines here. We had to run out before we hit break there, so you had to just listen to Wisdom W Wisdom regale you with a story or two. So, what was the emergency, buddy? What happened?
A neighbor gentleman was moving 2 of his cattle down to his son's ranch, about 2 or 3 miles down the road, and while moving them in this trailer, the back came undone, the lock or something wasn't latched or whatever, and his 2 cattle, got out on the road, and so me being the closest house and this being the kind of neighborhood we live in this 3 houses per 40 acres area, he came to my door and said, "Hey, sir, can you help me get my cattle up on my trailer?" And I said, "Of course," because that's what you do. Sometimes I've had mine get out, and your neighbors, you want some help, make it quicker. So we get the little grain bucket, and I go out to the road and have to track one down, and we finally get it stopped with the bucket, and me and him kind of corral it up into the trailer, and we go looking for the other one. We find him up in our field, up on our driveway, up next to the fence, eating grass next to our 2 cows that are in the side field, and just kind of got him in the trailer. And then the guy said, "Thank you." I said, "No problem." And he went off on down the road. But that's kind of what you get when you live that farm life.
So there's a cat that was running, and when I say cat, I'm talking about individual. I don't want people to get confused because this is a farm we're talking about. And I always forget that you were on a farm to begin with. So when I hear stories like this, a bunch of cattle got off somebody's truck. They're in my front yard. They knocked on the door because there's a big old storm coming, and he needed help getting the cattle back onto his truck. So you're running out there with feed buckets, and you're pushing cattle around, trying to get them onto this truck, this trailer, during the middle of our show, which you had a 4-minute break that you had to get this done before we went back live. So that is impressive that you're able to do so much. And he's coming back huffing and puffing. He slowed down a little bit, his Gatorade, he's good. But my goodness, the farm life is real. Now, that happened in my neighborhood, man. You don't get those type of things. People don't come up to my house, knock, knock, say, "Hey, my man, can you help a brother get his cattle back on his truck?" Because I'll be answering the door on the velvet road with, some velvet slippers and, a guy sounds.
You can't go cattle wrestling in that velvet, man.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? You want me to
how about that guy in Michigan? Wasn't that guy in Michigan who had that like illegal zoo in his backyard? And let all the monkeys and tigers and stuff out, and then they killed him. The tigers killed him, and then the cops in the city or whatever had to go up and shoot all this guy's farm animals that were basically illegal zoo animals.
What?
I don't remember that was like 2 or 3 years ago. He had bears and monkeys and lions and stuff, and he just was I guess he had some type of mental issue, and just opened up all the gates and sat there, and they found him all chewed up inside the complex he had. But then the government had to go around catching all these animals and killing them because they're out in the wild. And I think only 2 monkeys got away or something like that. 2 orangutans maybe.
Wow.
I have to look that up. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I'm glad that happens here, because if I was in Michigan, in like some city in Michigan, and some guy's like, "Hey man, the guy down the road just let lions and monkeys and stuff out. We need help getting them in, or you got to run to safety." That's more terrifying, I think, than some guy saying, "I got 2 cows out."
No, I would agree with that. Yes. All right, baby birds. Here we go. We are going to hear. We heard what you were saying. We're seeing what you're tweeting to us. We heard what you're sending to teamcnd.com. Words of wisdom at teamcnd.com. We got it. We got the grab bag. You wanted this. We're going to hit it.
Words of wisdom, featuring the man, the myth, the legend, Braun the Raid King, with yours truly, Wisdom W Wisdom, bringing you the real, hard-hitting list radio, here on Words of Wisdom.
And as we all know, that thank goodness that wasn't an inappropriate drop, because I really don't like to use drops any longer since that one incident we should not talk about. Anywho, we all know that the best talk radio, the best radio, is list radio. That is the best that you can get. There is nothing better than to silhouette those airwaves with list hard-hitting radio. So we listened to our viewers, we listened to our listeners, we heard what you had to say, and we took some of the lists that you gave us. We also made it more gaming eccentric because this is technically a gaming podcast slash radio show slash whatever you want to call it, right? And now we are finally getting into gaming after 32 minutes of not talking about gaming whatsoever. But we have lists, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, baby birds of all ages. Lists, lists, lists. We have top 5 lists. We have 6 different top 5 lists that we will throw in there and we will discuss a little bit right there. We're going to do the first list that I got for y'all. This is a Counter-Strike list. Your favorite maps in Counter-Strike. Now, I went way, way back in the Wayback Machine because I haven't played CSGO or any of that kind of jazz. I played the teams that I used to have, that I used to, I guess, own, I guess you would say. That was back in Counter-Strike 1.6, right about that range, 1.5, right before Source came out. So I was like, I think I was in college when I had those teams. Yeah. So the cities, the maps that I love, we'll start at number 5. Number 5, Dust 2. I put that at 5, Braun. I know that's a pretty overplayed map, so a lot of people, it's a good map and they love it, but it's overplayed all the time on all those public servers. But I dig the Dust 2 in the Dust.
I'd put Dust higher. I think Dust is probably at least number 2 or 3 on my list, just for the fact that I feel like Dust is probably one of the most competitive maps in Counter-Strike as far as equally balanced.
No, I would agree with you. I just think it was, if you're going to go down to the average player that plays on a lot of public servers, obviously, if you're a professional, you're not doing that. Or if you're striving to be a professional, you're not doing that. You're doing scrimmages, you're doing all that kind of stuff 24/7 in strats. But all those public servers, man, they just run Dust and Dust 2 24/7.
Yeah, it's just like the vanilla of Counter-Strike. It's the map everybody knows. It's not overly complicated. Doesn't have a lot of nuances that allow you to really take advantage of the other side, and it really is one of those smaller maps that just allows you to get into gunplay right away. I think that's why it's so hardcore on the server side as far as people host. That's why it's just, it might be the most just solid map in the whole game, and I think that's why it gets overplayed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that assessment of the situation. Number 4 on Counter-Strike maps. This is my personal, one of my favorite maps, as you can see, being number 4 on my list. Number 4, FY Ice World.
I love Ice World. It's one of those maps where if you don't really want to play Dust, you go play Ice World, because it's just gonna be the same thing. You're rushing around and you're getting the guns and you're just gonna go have combat. There's really isn't really anything other to do than just shoot each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was actually one of the maps that a lot of, when they were just screwing around, a lot of these professional players that were on the teams that I sponsored, they would play these giant FY Ice World maps when it's got 20 people on each team or 18 people on each team. And so just because you had to react so fast, so it helped them with their reaction speed and learning and getting the hang of not emptying a clip anywhere, because you need all those bullets. You got to headshot all these guys, otherwise you're going to run out of bullets. Eventually you're going to run into some cat that's just going to get lucky and shoot you when you're reloading in FY Ice World, because there's so many people running around, right? So they would use that as, all right, or they would just use their pistol in it, killing people with AWPs and stuff like that from across the map with just their pistol. So
yeah, deagling headshots.
Yeah. So when they were just dinking around, not scrimmaging, that kind of stuff, that's the only public server map that they would ever play. They wouldn't play any other.
Every once in a while, you hit up the op map. Remember the old op map where everybody spawns right in front of the op?
Yep, I do remember that. Yep, absolutely. Number 3 on my personal top 5 Counter-Strike list of maps is DE Inferno.
Yeah, Inferno, another solid one. It's probably the most played map, I'd have to guess off the top of my head. I like it. It's one of those maps, though, that has a really bias towards one side than the other, which is kind of after Dust. I think almost all the maps kind of have a bias side. So I think I like Inferno just because you either rushing banana. I'm just always thinking terrace. You're either rushing up that banana or you're going through the apartments, and both of those are always just fun.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I remember one time on DE Inferno, I was subbing in for one of the cats that was an emergency, and he had to roll out. And two of the other people, it's when the flu was really bad. So two of the other guys that were on the team were sick, and one of the other guys that was the starter, he had to leave. He had like some sort of family emergency. I don't recall so much again, but it was a big time match. It was, and so we had, I think there was 9 people on the roster. One of my guys was on the roster, and then the manager was on the roster. And I got pretty good at Counter Strike because I used to play with these guys all the time. You know, I wasn't as good as them, but I was. You put me in a pub, I would completely damn near almost ace a pub because I'm playing against guys that are Cali and higher. You know what I'm saying? Guys that are going around and play for money. But one of the times that we needed to play in one of the, I can't even remember what match it was, but it was, I remember the map. I'm pretty sure it was against Merc way back in the day, which is the Icelandic guild, or sorry, clan, I should be saying that. And there was, I don't think it wasn't a Kali match. It was one of the Cevos or Evos or something like that matches. And I was playing. I'm nowhere near as good as the rest of these guys. I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that good. I was the last one left guarding the bomb on DE Inferno. It was the bomb site that is closest to the CT spawn. I was at that particular bomb site. I had my trusty AK-47. I had my trusty Desert Eagle, and it was me versus 5 Merc. And they came storming in, throwing flashbangs, all this kind of jazz. And you would practice these strats where people would normally be standing or where they would be coming from to breach a site. And you would watch these other teams run these strats. There's a lot of work put into this stuff. So we would watch these guys and where they would normally come in. So I counted off where these bombs were being thrown, and looking at the strats that they would normally run, I figured, okay, this guy's going to come from this angle, this guy's going to come from that angle, this guy's going to come from here. So in Inferno, in that bomb site, there's a bunch of boxes. And when you have an AK, it's a pretty powerful gun. You can shoot through the boxes. And if you are aiming properly to where their heads would be, you can shoot their upper body. So I will say this is probably 70% luck and 30% skill. All right. When they were breaching, once they threw those grenades, I counted off to how long it would take them normally to come around the corner. I shot through the angle of the box that was behind, got a headshot through that box. I turned to the side, got another box, got a headshot through that box. Then the other 3 guys came storming in, and I threw a flashbang off the side of the wall, and it bounced right above my head. And I came around the corner when I was half blind and they were blind, and I shot, and I killed the other 3 dudes right there on the spot. It was the best I've ever done in the history of the game, period. And I've never had anything like that happen not against those quality or skilled players. Man, sure, you go in the pub, you have that kind of stuff, but that was my glory day of acing those cats as they tried to defuse a bomb on DE.
Yeah, it was a moment for the ages.
Yeah, it never will happen again. And I wonder if there's any footage of that, because that would be fantastic to play for the Baby Birds. But that was a long, long time ago, man, in a galaxy far, far away.
No, Inferno is just a really good map. I like the way B bomb. Is it B or A? The one that's over on the when you come out of the apartments, and it's kind of its own little square box area where the bomb plant is, and then you have the apartments on the right side, and then the library area on the left, and the pit. Like I just like that bomb site. I think there's just so much unique stuff that can happen in those fights. And like I said, I've been watching a lot of this TBS Counter Strike Go. They just had the latest tournament. Like we said, Cloud9 finally won it. And I just like the way that people play that map so much on the pro level.
Oh, absolutely. And just one quick, in case someone does find that footage, I might be mistaken. That might not have been a 5v1. It might have been a 4v1. So we'll just throw that in there as a disclaimer. All right.
Well, you know, yeah, always undersell. If it's a 4v1, they go, wait a minute, you're wrong. It's a 5v1. You're like, oh, well, I guess I'm just better.
Well, we do this. It's a 1v1. It was a 1v1, so y'all find that. You're going to see at least 4 guys that get
I defused the bomb. Everybody was dead, but I still got it.
Number 2 on my list for Counter-Strike maps is CS Office.
Office is by far my favorite map of all time. I love Office so much. I don't know if you ever played a lot of the CS 1.6 Warcraft mod. You ever play that at all?
I did. I do remember those, the Warcraft mod. Yep.
Yeah, CS Office was the funnest map to play with that mod.
Yeah, I dig the servers where you could level up real high. The problem was you get leveled up real high when you first join a server like that, and then you're playing against someone that's like a level 55 or something like that, and they're good. Then they're just.
Well, it's just everybody plays human and it just goes invis.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, Office is legit. I wish they, it's because it's a hostage map. I almost wish that Counter Strike, if we could go back into the infancy of it, would on all the maps where they made it hostage, if they would have just also made a bomb alternative, a double bomb alternative, I think my favorite map of all time would have been a lot more viable, and I think a lot of those other maps like CS Office would have actually been used in tournament play, which I think would have made for a much better viewing spectacle.
Oh, absolutely. My favorite maps, as you're probably noticing going through these, a lot of them are CS maps. And that gets to number one, the number
Come
one
on,
of
come on,
the greatest Counter-Strike map of all
come on!
time.
I hope it's the same one.
CS Arab Streets.
Oh, we're really missing the mark on this one.
Arab
I
Streets.
actually got to be honest. I don't know if I'm really recalling Arab Street at all.
Arab Streets is fantastic. If I remember correctly, it is a bomb map and a CS map. I love it. It's amazing. One of my favorite maps of all time. You're gonna have to Google it when we're done here and check it out. It's my favorite map. A map that was close on my list that I had a hard time leaving off was CS Siege. That's a big map. I
Yeah,
love
Siege is one of my favorites, but I thought you were gonna go with the greatest map of all time. Didn't get its due because it was a hostage map, and that was Assault. Is there a better map than Assault? Is there?
Dude, Assault is so one-sided. It is absurd. It's
Did it not feel when you won that as a counter terrorist? Did you not feel like you just dominated the world?
Yeah, that was that, man. If you played against a couple guys that are, if you're playing against three guys that are good with long range weapons and they're terrorists, you have no chance of getting in there.
Yeah, the guy with the AK that sits up in the top corner as you come in the front door, or the guy who likes to sit up on the rafter looking at the back door. But the beauty of that map was to the point where you knew where everybody goes. So like if you're the counter terrorist and you went up the side ladders, you or from the outside, you knew where to spam not foil, but the aluminum walls, like the girding on the walls on the outside. You could spam through them and actually kill the terrorists in the corners and in the rafters if you knew where people would sit. So I think it kind of gave. I like that map because if you were just a hardcore camper, and people would be able to figure out where you were because you had the truck. Remember, you could see inside.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
a
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you could.
yeah, so that you could call it out and people just wall people. And I just and then when you won as counter terrorist, that map was just so gratifying.
It was because it's probably the most unbalanced map they've ever
Oh,
made.
by far, you're so right on that. I'd imagine that it's like a 1-to-10 win ratio on that.
All right, we're gonna hit the next list, next top five list. Moving away from the FPS, let's hit this. You know what? You played this game more than me, Bron, so I'm gonna let you do your top five on these guys. League of Legend characters.
Oh, this is good. People are not going to agree with me because I play such off the wall most part. So I mean, really, let's see. Number 5, I'm gonna have to go with Maokai. I like Maokai, the giant tree guy. He likes to root, a lot of control, lives forever, tanks forever, plays top lane, support jungle. That's probably my number 5. Number 4 is gonna be Misfortune. An
Ooh, I
ADC
like that
main right
red hair.
now.
I'm
So
digging that red hair.
Misfortune's number 4. Has the ability to just at late stages just one shot people. I probably have more pentas with Misfortune than anybody else. Number 3 is going to be Jin. Right now, I played Jin, Misfortune bot lane. Jin's been my favorite ADC of all time since I've been playing the game. He just got a brand new rework, which makes him even stronger. So he's in a real good spot, and I'm having a lot of fun climbing right now. But the top 2 are going to be the ones that people, for the most part, are probably going to disagree with. I like my number 2 is Teemo. I started with Teemo top for entire first season. Love the Teemo top. But the number 1, my favorite champion in all the game is the Fiddlesticks. I play Fiddlesticks support bottom.
The sticks.
And I just love the Fiddlesticks.
The sticks, man. Back in the day, the sticks was so good. His attacks were slow as hell, but timing the crow storm, man, at just the right time. Woo! Because had the longest cooldown in the game at the time when I used to play it. Did I heard that they changed all that stuff and made the crow storm half the cooldown and does half the damage on the bullshit. Stupid.
It's still pretty strong. I've gotten a few. I've pented it a few times off Crow Storm. It's pretty strong. The only thing I'm really looking not forward to is that I heard that Fiddlesticks is in the pipeline. The next 3 champions get a rework, and so I'm really hoping they don't mess with them too much. But yeah, I love fiddlesticks. I have 2 accounts with level 7 fiddlesticks. I consider myself one of the fiddlesticks main supporters. So anybody out there who loves the fiddlesticks, put your hands up. I'm with you.
The Sticks. I will give you my number one character. I haven't played for ages. My number one character in League of Legends is the man, the myth, the rusty old steam golem, Blitz to the Krizza Crank.
Yeah, Blitz is really good, especially at the lower elos. He can really side games. People don't position. So you see a lot of Blitz bans, and I played a lot of Blitz. I have them. I like playing Blitz a lot. I don't really like support tanks unless they're some of the really tanky ones, and Blitz doesn't really fit that. But a lot of people play Blitz, and man, he can really tilt your whole team if you're playing with.
All right, let's swing on back in. Let's go to what the people wanted, the people champion. This was, I'm not going to say their name because their name is extremely inappropriate, but it was an email from one of the cats. This was what got this whole thing going. What are your top 5 favorite MMOs of all time?
Ooh, this is good. Probably start with 1 and work down.
Well, hold on, man. You can't give your top one first. You got to go. You got to go to the back.
Yeah, but see, because it's kind of weird because there's so many. There's so many obscure ones. Like I don't know if you ever remember a game called Horizons.
I did not, but that can be your number one. That's fine. You know, whatever is your number one game.
Number one, but it's not my number one. But it's definitely I really enjoy it. It's probably top 5, and so I'm just trying to cipher through all of them. Star Wars Galaxies before they patched it would probably be number 3. EverQuest probably number 1. World of Warcraft number 2. I really dig Star Wars SWTOR. I think I digged it a lot more than a lot of people did. And that's really hard. There's just been so many, to put 5 of them. I mean, really, I guess the top 2 are EverQuest and World of Warcraft, just because of
that's 4
how much time I've put into them.
You got Star Wars Galaxies. You're a smart man. You got 4. What's your 5th?
No, I know. I'm really trying hard to think of what the ones would be after 1 and 2, because there's just been so many. But yeah, we'll just go with SWTOR Galaxies and Horizons. I think Horizons really was going to be a really good game. I couldn't really tell you why that is now, but at the time, I really enjoyed playing it.
Sounds like it's about the Matrix Online, so congratulations.
I didn't play the Matrix Online. They had a Matrix Online?
Yes, they did. And one of SOE's proud accomplishments was the Matrix.
It was an
Online.
RPG?
It was MMO, man.
What?
Yeah, it was horrendous.
What'd you do? Did you have to patch yourself into a system to upgrade karate? What would you do?
Pretty much. Do you remember the Sony Pass when they used to let you spend $21 a month and get all of their games to play for a monthly fee?
I did not.
Okay, well they did a thing where you did that. So I had the Sony Pass because I had PlanetSide, Vanguard, all those kind of stuff I had on there. EQ2 was on there, so I had the Sony Pass. So I was like, all right, well I'll just go pick up a copy of the Matrix Online because it just came out. I'm like, all right, let's try this. The worst game in the history of MMO gaming is the Matrix Online. You think it would be a cool concept to do because the Matrix is a computer game, basically, right? It's a program. The whole thing is, and they just couldn't do it properly. I was in awe how bad it was.
What kind of stuff did you have to do in it? Can you give me an example? Was there quests?
Yes,
or
what quest?
Rating of any type?
I did not get that far. I don't think anyone got that far, man. Basically, you install the game, you start playing, you're like, what the hell is this? You basically uninstall it, and you're done, and you ask for your money back, and they don't give it.
Like when you started out to here's your life, and they flush you out of this toilet, and then a ship picks you up.
I didn't even think that happened. I think I'm pretty sure I just start in this town, and you disappear there. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but don't hold me to that.
You disappear. So you've already been rescued, and now you're patching back in.
Yeah, that's what. If I remember correctly, don't hold me to that though, man, because I don't remember. It was bad. It was real bad.
I'm fascinated by this game now because I did not even know it existed.
You should get on the EMU. I'm sure there's a Matrix EMU out there. If not, you should get behind it.
There's people that still play it. I'm getting down. I think it needs a second chance. I think it needs a revival. I think I need to figure out what it is, and if it's probably not going to be worth it.
I'm going to give you my 5 of the top MMOs. Some of them are the same as yours, but I have the good ones, so here you go.
Nah, you're going to go classic. You're going to go classic mainstream. You're just going to be part of that mainstream propaganda.
Nah, man, nah, dude, nah. Just listen up. Wow's
All right,
mainstream propaganda.
let me hear what you got, and if it better not all be mainstream.
Number 5, Warhammer.
Okay, well you already got my heart with Warhammer.
Yeah, Warhammer was the bomb, man. Open world PvP, open world PvP. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I think that game launched just a little too early for its own good.
I agree. I agree. Ooh, I got a message. We don't have ton of time left, so let me speed through this a little bit faster. Number 4, Rift.
Yeah, I get that. I get Rift. Wow, you're right. Yeah, Rift was pretty good. Rift is still good, I bet. It seems like one of those games where they're continually going to add on to it for a while.
Number 3, Baby Bird. One of my favorite games of all time. These 3 were very difficult for me to list because, to be honest with you, they're all my favorite games. I would play these games nonstop. In fact, one of them I still play today. I'm playing right now. Number 3, Planet Side. The first one, not the second. Let me make that clear. Planet Side.
I just remember in PlanetSide, just me and my buddies would just want to drive around with the anti-aircraft buggies and just try to shoot everybody down. I thought that was the most fun part of the game.
And number 2 on my list, which really, I'll be honest, 1 and 2 are basically tied for each other. They're both first. I mean, I love number 2 so much that I'm heavily invested into the game that is currently being made by VR, Mr. Brad McQuaid's company. Whew. Vanguard Saga Heroes. Vanguard.
Yeah, I never got to
Saga
play it, but I mean, you've told me lots about it. I've read lots about it. I kind of wish I would have got on that train back in the day. So I'm hoping to get on the next train as it comes through the station here coming up.
That's right, and that's on Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. Want to check out information about it, go ahead and put in your Google machine, pantheonmmo.com, pantheonmmo.com. Check them out on Twitter, VR, or Brad McQuaid. Follow just Brad McQuaid on Twitter. All right. Number 1, and like I said, my number 1 and number 2 are virtually the same for me in my heart, but this is the game that I'm currently playing still to this day, right now, on an EMU server. This is fantastic. I love it. I own 4 copies of the game. I have the discs. I have all of it. It's fantastic. It's the greatest in the history. Star Wars Galaxies and Empire Divided.
It was good until they mucked it up, killed it.
You are correct. The cool thing about the EMU is that they don't put in all that bullcrap. They know what's good. They know what people want, and they have it set. So as long as you have the discs, and you show them that you got them, you can install and play on their server, and you play the original version of the game. It's not even the holocron crap. They have it's the original village.
I can't believe we didn't put Ultima Online on there.
See, I was too young, man. So for me, I played that kind of behind my brother's shoulder.
That was your gateway, though.
It was my gateway. Yeah, it was my gateway drug, man. I mean, that was beer for a brother. That was a gateway drug. Miller High Life, right? Champagne, no beers. Yeah, but not. That's number 6 on my list because that's the game I played probably the least out of all these games, right? But it got me in, kind of gave me that taste. It gave me that sweet taste of sauce, to kind of
honey potted you.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Honey potted me. All right, let's get through one more of these lists. All right,
knock it out.
All right, Bron, my man. Your top 5 favorite FPS shooters. First-person shooters.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Counter-Strike Go, Day of Defeat, try Counter-Strike. My 5, top 5 right there.
Is Counter-Strike your number 1?
No. I sorry. I went back order. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. I did 1 to 5. Let's just flip it. 1 Counter-Strike. We'll fix it. Counter-Strike Go 5. Counter-Strike 1.6 4. Day of Defeat 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 is 2, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is 1.
It's funny how you ragged me for not having Ultima Online on my top 5 MMOs. However, this is the same age and same period. I have Quake in my top 5. Quake 1, the original, when I was also 10 years old playing that thing, right? And I have that in there.
Yeah, now I mean, I get what my buddy played Quake a lot, and I'd watch it, and I just never really got the feel for it. Even when I played like Ultimate Unreal Tournament and stuff, I enjoy those games, but they lack like kind of that modern the truism to them, where like a lot of the games I mentioned have kind of like more realistic ballistics, I guess, as far as like rifles and stuff. Where the other ones were a lot of grenade launchers and rocket launchers and laser rifles. And I guess when it comes to me wanting to kill people virtually, I want to do it with more classical um, gunpowder type weapons.
Now, what everyone's been waiting for, the final, most important list. Braun, the man, the myth, the legend, Raid King. Who are your top 5 Star Wars characters?
Number one's we gotta go. I gotta flip it backwards, right? Let's see. Number 5 is probably R2D2. I don't know, Chomper right now in the Rebel series, giving him a run for his. Probably number 5 is R2D2. 4 is gonna be Han Solo. I like the scoundrel, the bad boy. He's up in there. Number 3, Chewbacca. Got to have the hairy Wookiee in there. 2, I'm just gonna go with Luke. I think Luke was the quintessential Jedi to begin with, and then number 1, of course, is the guy who's totally inflated based on the amount of screen time. That's Boba Fett.
Sorry, do you say Boba Fett?
Yeah, he's the number 1. For the amount of fame that Boba Fett gets based on the amount of screen time Boba Fett had is ridiculous.
It's a funny thing that George Lucas could never understand why in the world everyone was so in love with Boba Fett. The guy's in the movies for a total of 3 minutes, the entire movies, all of them. And most of that's in Return of the Jedi. He just could not understand for the life of him why people love Boba Fett so much.
They created an anti-hero that looks like a stormtrooper with better armor, and he has a jetpack. I mean, come on, George. What's so hard to figure out?
All right, baby birds, here are my top 5. Number 5, Chewbacca. Number 4.
You got Chewie number 5?
Yeah, absolutely. Chewie's number 5.
Chewie would slap you to the next planet right now.
Nah, not if he hears the rest of this list, he wouldn't. Number 4, Lando Calrissian.
The guy lost the Millennium Falcon in a gambling game, man. Come on.
To your favorite character, Han Solo, so settle down over there.
Because he won that Millennium Falcon in that gambling game.
That's right. That's right.
I like winners, not people who turn on their friends.
Oh, wow, man. Wow. Number 3, Darth Maul.
I like to consider Darth Maul he's like, to me, he's more emo than the new guy who's emo, and he's trying so hard to be Darth Vader without all the coolness.
And that brings me to number 2. Can you guess who number 2 is?
Darth Vader?
Darth Vader. James Earl Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be the James Earl Jones Vader. The first time they come up with a Vader, it's not James Earl Jones Vader. I hate that Vader.
And my number 1 Star Wars character of all
Yoda
time.
me?
Through all of the movies, all of the animated series, all of the books, the number 1, the best, the greatest, the only one worth calling and holding you near, dear, and here in your hearts. The greatest galactic bounty hunter in the history of Star Wars. My man.
IG-88.
The real, the man, the myth, the legend. Where Braun stole that from originally. No, not IG-88. No, not Forlom. No, not Zuckus. No, not Molly Zinn. No, not even Jango Fett.
Is it Dengar or Bosk? Come on, not Bosk?
No, not Bosk. No, not Dengar.
What about Jango?
Nah, not even Jango. Not even Jango could live up to the greatness of this man. Boba Fett.
Yeah, the crowd would go wild on that one. You know what? I was thinking more like main characters, but if I have to be totally honest with you, my all-time favorite Star Wars character wasn't even in the movies. Actually, no, I take that back. He might have been in one of the Clone War movies, but I'm a big fan of Captain Rex, the stormtrooper with the blue. And then I've always really, really been a Wedge Antilles fan.
Sorry,
But they didn't.
you can't do
A
any
lot of
good
people,
back there.
no, but I'm saying like a lot of people wouldn't really get those unless you're really. I think Wedge Antilles is more of a hardcore Star Wars fan.
Yeah, in the books, you got to read the books to appreciate.
Yeah, because
Wedge.
like the X-wing series that really made me a big Wedge Antilles fan.
Yes, absolutely.
But as far as the movies go, I mean, Wedge doesn't really have a part in there, and I don't think Rex really had a pivotal part either. So I wouldn't really even count them as far as like the movie canon character as far as being the best. But yeah, Darth Maul, man, I have to go back to that. Darth Maul, I think, was the perfect bad guy for those series, and they've even carried him on into the new Rebel cartoon. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I haven't seen that. All right, baby birds, we are out of time, so we will be back right after this to wrap up the show. And don't forget, catch us on YouTube, Team CND on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Catch us, teamcnd.com. That's Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com, so you can be on the show with your grab bag, like this was from our listeners, from an inappropriate name that I will not repeat on air. And words of wisdom, words from wisdom, words of wisdom, words from wisdom at Words from Wisdom in the Twitterverse. Hit us up. Hit them high, hit them low. Let's go.
You know what? We really didn't like a lot of Jedis, did we? There's no Mace, no Yoda. We really hate Yoda, don't we?
Yeah, Yoda is a little too much for me, man. And I want to do a Yoda impression right now, but my throat hurts pretty good, so I can't do that. Otherwise, I would do it.
I think what happened was we got used to the old, can't really move, looks like a chronic back pain Yoda, and then all of a sudden we're given a Yoda doing flips and flying around.
Yeah, he should have seen it. He should have seen the Emperor for what he was, and he didn't. So screw him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right in the moment they needed him most, Yoda's all goofing off and daydreaming.
Yeah, he failed. He had a chance to end it before it started, and he failed. He failed. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, you raised Darth Vader. Congratulations.
Yeah, but to be fair, Obi-Wan wasn't ready yet himself.
Nope, he wasn't ready.
That's more Yoda's fault.
That's also Obi-Wan's fault for being too damn slow, and he can't get through the damn fields to help Qui-Gon.
I think we're going to have to get to the point where we realize that Yoda was the reason that the Emperor took over. He was the reason Darth Vader came into power, and he's the reason... I don't even know why Yoda gets to hang out with all the other dead Jedi acting like he did something.
Yeah, him and Jar Jar Binks.
I think Jar Jar would have made a fine Jedi.
He's a Dark Lord of the Sith, man.
He could be, man. I mean, it makes sense if you really thought about it.
All right, baby birds, that is the end of the show. Till next time. Baby birds, baby birds, baby birds. Welcome back to the nest here on Words of Wisdom. We're going to go ahead and leave you the same way we leave you every single week. A little something to ponder. Don't forget to find us at Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com. That's Words of Wisdom at teamcnd.com. Stay in our grab bag, stay in our mentions, stay involved in the show. Team CND on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Team CND on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Stay in our mentions. Words from Wisdom at Words from Wisdom in the Twitterverse. And I will leave you, baby birds, to ponder this as you fly away from the nest. When I read, I see the imagination can sing. When I read the words, pictures come to life. When I read, everything grows and seems stronger and glimmers in the night. When I read, the passion that sings hearts and souls inside as I grow slowly, slowly, and I never get old. As I read, life seems the same. As I read, everything is brought to light, and the crevices of my imagination are truth and justice to all. Or when I read, I think I could be anything. When I read, I can fly through the air. When I read, I can drive a NASCAR. When I read, I can play professional football. When I read, I can shoot up to the moon. When I read, I can swim across the ocean. When I read, I can breathe so clearly. When I read, I can fly into the sun. When I read, I can go anywhere I dream. When I read, it's my imagination that sings. When I read, I can believe what I am. When I read, everything grows lighter. And sometimes when I shut the book and close to the last page, everything gets a little dimmer. Thank you so much, baby birds. Just a little something for you to ponder. Maybe pick up a book, maybe hop in and do a little light reading. Pull yourself away from your cell phones, from your tablets, from your CPU screens, your laptops, your devices, your wireless. Why don't you just try to do a little something called When I Read, Where Does It Take You? And we'll see you back next week when you're flocking home back to the nest. We are out of here.